Good afternoon. Hey, it's Trish. I am here with Heidi and with Durenda, and we are the Mentoring Moms show, sort of. We don't feel very mentoring today. None of us do. So, anyway, okay, so Heidi Ciravola, I have to say it with my best Italian accent. She's at Starts Today, and she blogs a lot about high school and about unit studies and a little bit of everything that goes along with homeschooling. And Durenda is at Simple Nursing Home, and Durenda blogs about life and homeschooling. And Durenda has a lot of kids that are grown. Some of them are grown and actually having their own babies. So Durenda is grandma. So she has lots of wisdom for us. So anyway, but we're here. We're barely here. Okay, we're here though, right?
That's right. We are here, and we're glad we're here. But yeah, we're just praying for grace today.
We are all, I don't know about everybody out there, but we feel like we're just sort of stuck in the holiday rush of things. Not necessarily that we're rushing, it just seems like the world's spinning around us, and like, we can't seem to get our bearings right now. So if you're there, we're right there with you. We get it.
Yep.
Believe.
Yeah,
So,
I think this year I totally get the whole issue in public schools when they get to this time of year. For just I see how distracted I am and the kids are, and I can't imagine having a classroom full of kids that are all feeling the same way. And and I remember we got through last year. Now we ended up being very sick over the couple of weeks that we were off for Christmas. But I remember getting through last year and feeling as though we just didn't have any time to enjoy the holidays, and so I scheduled in an extra week this year of time, but that doesn't come for over a week. We got this week and next week, and can I tell you, it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I should have just taken the whole month off. But starting back up is so hard when after you take time off. So.
Yeah, and I think too that the kids, I always think, oh my goodness, I need the break from keeping tabs on everybody and keeping track of what everybody's doing for school work and stuff. But then when I actually say, you know what, forget it, we're just not going to do school today, that often backfires on me because they don't have any direction, and they just end up bickering and fighting or just doing stuff, being unproductive, and then I get irritated. So it's kind of like you walk that fine line of knowing when to just maybe pare things down a little bit and when to just say forget it. It's really hard line to walk sometimes.
It is. I'm gonna select this question because that's what we're talking about. How do you manage to school over the holidays? Which is really what we're talking about, even though we didn't post.
We don't know.
That's right. There's our answer. Next.
I think that I need to learn how to school without having to keep track of everything.
Girlfriend, that is a chore for you. Let's see you do that.
I think that's the key for me because, like Durenda said, even like you need a break from it. You need a break from holding everybody accountable. And sometimes I'm just so bogged down in keeping track of everything that, I think I need to get rid of that. But I honestly think that maybe even for next year, I'm going to plan even better and do only holiday related things that I don't necessarily kill myself tracking, whether that be baking or whatever it may be. I've seen a lot recently of stuff, and I actually just did a post on the Polar Express for my own blog with doing like watching movies, comparing them to books, making so I'm like, maybe I should just create like a whole kind of list of kinds of books and movies and things, and do just like all holiday related, not stuff I necessarily am, writing every little thing that we did down, but that we're still learning, we're still reading, we're still, having conversations, we're still maybe doing some writing, some crafting, some, but just more kind of, holiday fun than,
I think that's a really good idea. I think when you start feeling like, how am I going to get it all done? How am I going to get the schoolwork done? How are we going to watch all the movies that we like to watch during the holidays, and and bake and this and that, and why can't all of that just be part of the learning plan for the month? And as far as planning perfectly for Christmas time, there just is no perfect plan for starters. But I think taking it year by year, like Heidi's finding herself in a situation where she's got a lot on her mind that has nothing to do with Christmas, during the holidays, and maybe she just needs that mental break. And so it's really, I think, learning what your own personal boundaries are and knowing kind of when you've approached those boundaries. And I'm saying all this because I'm still figuring it out.
She's knocking on the door of these boundaries, and she's trying to figure out if the door's shut or opening for her.
I don't know. So, we're expecting a grandbaby hopefully this week, and so my emotions are kind of on edge, and I finally yesterday decided, okay, last night I said, I'm going to put the phone in the bathroom now, my cell phone, so if she texts me, I'll actually hear it, because I usually have it in a different room at night. So I thought, okay, that's a good plan. So I put it in my room. She texts me at 12:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm
about the baby.
No, it wasn't. I'm stumbling out of bed. I end up in the closet, and then I ran into the wall, and then I finally made it into the bathroom, and I'm shaking by the time I get there, and it says, "God, I'm so frustrated. Somebody started a rumor that I'm in labor on Facebook, and I don't know, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, oh my word. And so then I tell her the story, and she is cracking up, and it just keeps getting better from there. So I just told her, I'm awake with you now, so I hope you're happy. So we were both laughing, but I went to bed, and my heart's just beating, and I'm trying to get back to sleep, and I was like, okay, so now she knows my phone is in the bathroom. Don't text me unless you mean business.
That's right. That's right. That is too funny.
So, yeah, that was pretty funny. So so my emotions are kind of like out there right now, and that I'm feeling like I have to do some different stuff with our 10-year-old, and I'm doing a lot of reading as much as I can about Montessori and some things like that, because I'm trying some of that.
Did you hear that, Heidi? Did you hear that word?
I know.
Lisa, I hope you're listening. I really hope you're watching, Lisa. If you're not, I'm going to send this video to you.
Well, did you see? She liked it. She liked my post that I talked about. Yeah, that
Lisa Pennington, we love you. We love you.
We
We're
do.
giving you lots of grief. We miss you.
And you're not here to defend yourself.
That's right. For those that don't know, Lisa Pennington is on our team, the Pennington Point. She has a fantastic blog. She will make every single post she does has a homeschool spin to it, but she really blogs more about her house and her home and how she gets everything done. She has a lot of kids like Durenda. Some are grown like Durenda's. So she's a little bit different. But she, one day we were having a hangout, and it was just Lisa and I. And I got tired of looking at myself talk, because when I talk, it shows me on the camera. And so I had it on Lisa the whole time, and I didn't realize that if I have the camera turned to somebody, it shows just them, even though I'm talking, because right now it goes back and forth. So anyway, I said the word Montessori, and Lisa rolled her eyes. And so so now we pick on Lisa about the word Montessori. So anyway, Sorry, go back. I'm sorry, Durenda, I hijacked your story.
So, so I'm kind of, playing around with that, and so that's kind of up in the air, and because we've been so busy, I haven't really been able to engage completely with that plan, and I'm feeling guilty, and it's just all kinds of stuff going on, and I'm trying to sort through it all, and just like Heidi was saying, maybe it's time to just back away from a few things. So if you're feeling that way, I just think listen to your gut, listen to what your boundaries are, and really take some time to think it through, so that we can go through this month, with as much sanity as possible, as little insanity as possible.
Oh, you can tell we are we're Freudian slip, but she meant every word of it.
I did. I meant every word.
Oh, well, it's interesting because I don't feel like I've gotten my game on yet this year. So, for y'all are talking about staying in the swing or staying on your game, and I don't even feel like I've gotten on our game yet. We
Yeah.
have, I've got 3 boys, 2 of which are teenagers, just in their teen years, who are going through all the teen stuff, and we're changing some things around here. We're remodeling. I have white tips to my hair from my ponytail being in a paint can, and so we have a lot going on too. And I'm telling you, I don't feel like I've ever gotten it on this year. And I've been homeschooling for 6 years, so for me to have, this kind of year, it's quite defeating. But that's okay. I'm like, well, okay, January's a new month, and we'll start again. So we'll see.
I think it's kind of a life thing, honestly. I mean, are we all on our game in life all the time? I mean, we have these massive ebbs and flows, and you have things that come up in life that you're not expecting that suck all the energy out of you, and and you still kind of got to figure out how to move through your day and move through your life. And so
That's right.
I kind of feel like homeschooling is the same. Sometimes we're just not as on as we would like to be, but we keep moving forward, and we keep trying to progress forward and still get some things done. Maybe not as clean and crisp and nice as we would like to, but
no.
And so that
Especially you and I. Because we're the checkoff kind of person. And, I'm sitting here looking at my lists over here, and if I actually showed you, these are their daily work plans, and I have like a stack of them hidden over here that never managed to make it into my book. I mean, there's just a ton of them, so none of it's on. I get it. Woo!
So managing the school over the holidays, everybody. How do we manage a school?
Yeah. Back to the question, how do you manage?
I think we're asking more questions. Yeah, I think, again, just feeling out your own boundaries and where you're at and how are the kids doing. Are they feeling stressed? Are you feeling stressed? And are there things you can drop? And there are things that come into our life that are, for lack of a better term, they're drama. Sometimes it's out of our control. Sometimes we choose the drama. And so I think being careful not to choose drama if we have the choice. And, just life kind of brings enough of its own, I think simplifying is always, always, always on the forefront of my mind, because the best quality that we give our lives, I think, is when simple.
Did we just lose her?
I think so. Uh-oh. Maybe she'll come back in a minute. I was thinking about, we're talking about that stuff, and I was thinking that, how many Christmases, how many holiday seasons do we have with our kids at home?
I know.
Like our 18 summers, not very many. And like I said, last year I really, really, really regretted feeling like we didn't enjoy the season. We didn't do as much baking as I would have liked to, or snuggling up and watching movies. And so I'm not going to let that pass us by this year. And if that means I have to drop another whole week out of what we were going to do, or I got to cut what we were doing in half, then that's what I'm going to do. Because I feel like we missed out last year, and I don't want to get into another year and feel that way and feel like, oh, we missed out. My mother-in-law is planning on taking each one of our kids for different days because she loves to bake, and she's going to have them over to her house one-on-one so they can bake and watch movies, and and you can't get that time back. So school, it can wait another few weeks. I just feel
that's
like
where we are. I know. Well, we
missed out, and I don't want to do that.
And we do Hanukkah and not
Right.
Christmas, so we're a little bit off anyway. Hanukkah starts, it's 8 days instead of 1, so we have an 8-day celebration coming up, and it starts the 16th. So it's even earlier than everybody else's, and it goes to the 24th. And my youngest's birthday is in the middle of it, and so we've got a lot going on too. So I know it's sort of crazy, but it's what it is.
So I say enjoy the holiday season. School, whatever you can manage, let the rest go. I say enjoy the season. Don't let it pass by, because I said I did last year, and I regret it. I wish that we'd done more. So, I plan on not doing that this year, and taking the time, to add that stuff in. So that's what I vote for.
I agree. I'm wondering if Durenda's going to hop back in. She still has the link, so we'll see. All these questions are the ones that Durenda actually chose. So
yeah, I see she's got one about teaching cursive,
yeah.
why or why not. And I teach cursive in our
Okay.
homeschool. I know that lots of schools are dropping it. My main, well, some people you find that cursive is easier before print. Some kids that are
That's
struggling with
actually
print.
Montessori. That M
Yeah.
word again. That's very Montessori to teach cursive before.
But there's a lot of people that find that if their kids have been struggling with print, that the cursive is easier. That hasn't really played it in our homeschool. We did print first, and now like my littlest is 3rd grade, and I started cursive with her this year. So I absolutely teach cursive. My son is 6th, 7th grade, and he writes in cursive. He's kind of sloppy, so while we don't specifically do a cursive book, so to speak, anymore, I have stuff that he does that I insist he write in cursive.
Yeah.
And I know that, technology is changing, and, we do so much more on the computer, but I think that I still think that our kids should be able to read cursive, because people write in cursive still sometimes, and I think they should be able to sign their names.
Mm-hmm. And read some of the founding documents. A lot of that is written in cursive. If they can't read it, then they won't be able to read some of the original documents,
So I definitely still have kept cursive in our homeschool and felt it was important.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want them to be able to print. I want them to be able to write in cursive. I want them to be able to sign their names, which is kind of funny because last year we spent a lot of time doing kind of, like workbook style cursive, writing
Mm-hmm.
sentences and stuff with our son. And we got to the end of the year and he had to sign his name on something and he still couldn't sign his name. And I was like, we did all this practicing cursive writing. Yeah, and he never wrote his name. And I was like, well...
Yeah, that rainbow writing. Yeah.
I'm like, well, so we're, clearly it didn't quite all connect. And so instead this year we're doing it a little more fluidly. While he's doing some sentence writing, it's also with his dictation, it's with other things so that he sees something in print and is writing it in cursive, or he's thinking and writing in cursive, so that his brain connects it more together instead of it being so separate. My older daughter didn't have an issue with that, but he clearly seems to it needs to be more fluid and just natural. He couldn't separate it out from the worksheets. It was like he could do it on the worksheets, but couldn't really separate it out.
Isn't that interesting? We did it. We taught cursive and still do. We used handwriting without tears, and we didn't do any of the extra stuff. We just did the workbooks, and then, like you said, we just encourage them to use that in different areas. Interestingly enough, my oldest, Chase, actually has taken upon himself to start writing things in cursive. I didn't require it. Now he's writing everything in cursive. So I don't know why. But yeah, we still teach it, and we definitely believe in teaching cursive. So I don't know why. I don't understand why the public school is taking it out, but we still teach.
So do we. I think it's just one of those added kind of things that they think they can, like they lessen the art, they lessen that, they feel like, oh, well, that's not as essential, especially in this age of technology where everybody's pushing computer keyboarding, and typing skills, and so I think that takes the forefront over writing in cursive. And I believe there's a benefit in music study, in art study, and so I think that as homeschoolers, I think we more try and educate the whole child, and that's not just your narrow box of what a lot of public schools are just trying to focus on. And I think that the more they do that, the more they're losing. So I do think there is a place, while we don't do art as as fluidly or as frequently, or music as we do, say, math, math study. I do think it's really important. All of our kids play an instrument. I just think it's soothing. It's it's helpful for the brain to connect. And so I think I feel kind of that same way about cursive, that I just still for myself felt it was important. And so yes, we do teach cursive.
Yep. And it's interesting that a lot of folks don't now. But think about it. They also say, books are going to go away. Well, I love books, and yeah, I do have my Kindle reader also, but I also have my book. and have way too many books. Matter of fact, I need to downsize my books. But oh well. Okay, so Durenda's not back, and Heidi is leaving at 1:30, and I'm telling y'all, I'm not staying on this call without somebody here with me. I'm just telling you, so this is going to be a short call if Durenda doesn't come back. Heads up. Okay, so we'll keep going, though. This is a great question, and we hear about this a lot this time of year. It's how do you deal with intrusive questions about homeschooling at family gatherings? And, yeah, that happens. I think this time of year, that's one of the hardest things that we have to deal with. Wouldn't you agree? You know?
Mm-hmm. I avoid them at all costs.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's exactly what I don't deal with it. I'm so very fortunate that my family, either I'm just weird enough and they think it's normal for me, or everybody around me just doesn't choose to engage. I have no idea, but I don't get any grief over it. I'm sad for everybody that does get grief over it.
We don't get it from any of our immediate family, but we have, a couple of kind of acquaintance type friends in our circle that, they do that sarcastic sort of thing where they try and pretend they're being funny, but that they're not. And we have family members who I think want to like stack themselves up or knock mine down, however you want to look at it. And so there's always kind of questions at the extended family gathering, surrounding homeschooling. And like I said, I will be I will pull out the claws. It's either that or I just avoid it, which is why I say I avoid it. I really try to just kind of, give a more blanketed statement about what we're doing or what we're learning, but I really try to, hold on. Oh. Apparently I have two fighters next to me. They want to argue. So for me, when it comes up, like I said, my instant response is to want to be snarky or to be rude, and I don't want to do that. I think not only does it present myself,
family gathering, that's what makes it hard. Yeah,
and I think it presents myself badly. I think it presents homeschooling badly if I take an attitude like that, and so I try to kind of temper that response. And like I said, depending on what the remark is, a lot of people, now that I'm homeschooling high school. Oh, you're homeschooling high school? How do you manage to do that? How are they going to go to college? How are they, the usual questions. And honestly, I tell people, well, I don't have to know everything. And we have so many resources available, to our children that, I said any subjects that we need, we can find the resources to teach them appropriately. And then I kind of leave it at that.
I'm exactly the same way. I do my best in an environment. I don't get it, like I said, at family gatherings so much, but in environments where I might get it or where I would get it. And again, it depends on if they mean something to you. If you're in an environment where these are folks that are, there's a, love relationship there, you don't want to alienate over homeschooling. And so I will even say, this is obviously going to be a topic we're not going to agree on, so, let's just not go there. Let's not go there. There's no reason to go there. Let's not make it about why we're different or how we're different. Let's focus on the things that make us, we're both moms, we're both this, we're both that, whatever, let's go there and let's talk about something different. And I would just lay it on the table. You know me, I just shoot straight. It's like, well, let's not go there. But and if it's not anybody I really am tight with, that I feel like I have to have that level of transparency with, I'll joke about it. That's my usual thing. I would just make some flippant joke and just say, something along the lines of, to each their own, or we all do things differently, or whatever, and make a joke about it and move on. But yeah, it's hard. It really is hard this time of year. But I can tell you, the one of the things that I would recommend for moms is to grow some thicker skin. We can choose to engage. We can choose to be offended or choose not to be. And just know that they're coming. I mean, honestly, y'all, don't you think that a lot of people that don't homeschool don't even understand the relationships and the tightness that we have with our children? They don't know what they don't know. So that's sort of how I look at it. I'm like, they're coming from a perspective of ignorance, not that they're ignorant, but they just don't know. They don't know what they're missing. And so therefore, I'm like, how can you don't even have a basis to have an intellectual discussion with them because they don't know. So I don't even go there. I just try to avoid it. And that's probably not the best way for a lot of folks, but that's how I deal with it.
Well, but I think that I often find that if you're either giving some sort of light kind of answer to move across the topic, or you get into this discussion that is not really great for anybody, because they want to argue with you or they want to put you down or put in general. That's if somebody's
or they're offended because we're doing it. They think that we automatically think we're better than them when we don't.
Yeah.
When we don't even think that. It's what's right for our family. It's ridiculous.
And so I think
they do take it that way.
Yeah, so I think it becomes a really difficult one to navigate. And so like I said, I agree with you that, if you have to, if you try and just be like, you know what, this probably isn't the best thing for us to, to have a conversation about and try and move beyond it. And like I said, I try and give some sort of fairly sterile answer, to what we're doing and then move on. Because obviously, at family gatherings, you're probably going to care more about your interaction and your relationship with that person than you are somebody you're never going to see again.
I agree.
So you would have to navigate it with a little more tact than you might elsewhere.
Exactly. And that's the key.
Yes.
We actually have a watcher that is asking a question, so I'm going to select hers real quick. And Durenda popped in and said she's trying to come back. But I'm just telling y'all we have 3 more minutes, and if Durenda's not back, we're ending the show early. Okay, so it says, would it be wrong to take the rest of the year off? Still trying to find a good curriculum. We're doing T4 right now. T4. Oh, time for learning, right?
Oh yeah, T4L. Yeah, time for learning. Yeah.
Not really liking the online curriculum, so we're going to go for a complete box curriculum, which I prefer, but you can't get it until January. That is not hers. Darn.
But yes, take the year off, or take the month off.
Yeah.
Take the month off and start in January. Absolutely. To answer that question, since you pulled that one up.
I know. I didn't bring up hers, but anyway, I'll go down there and get hers in a second. But yeah, I agree.
Do you think homeschooling is better than public or private school? Is that the one you're looking for?
Yeah. So we can go there if you want. I'm not sure who. Yeah.
Well, if Lexi asked that, she says, do you think homeschooling is better than public or private school? I think that it depends.
It depends on your family. It depends on your circumstances. It depends on your life. So, if there are a lot of people think that we homeschool for religious reasons or because there's not a good school in our area or whatever. But it's really not that. There are 1,000 different reasons moms homeschool. Right?
I'm muting myself. Well, I have so much noise in the background right now. And I think that's where people get tied up, is that people think that they need to compare themselves or decide which one is better or which one is, and I genuinely, when people ask me, I say I don't necessarily believe that homeschooling is for everybody. I don't think that I certainly never if you had asked me 10 years ago, I would not be homeschooling. That was never in the plan. It was never even in my mind. I had my first child go through first grade. I went through public school. I had every intention of doing so, never thought differently. But circumstances changed and it became it was the best option for us at the time. And then even after that, circumstances changed, and people ask us, well, then now that your circumstances have changed, why didn't you put your kids in public school? Because we just moved districts and we live in a good school district. And I said, it never even crossed my mind. We had started homeschooling and it was working for us. And so that was it. We stayed with it. And so yes, there's a lot of things. We see all kinds of stuff in the media and all kinds of things about public school and public school, obviously there's a lot of things going wrong. But, I also think that there's a lot of things going right. And, with anything, it also depends on the district you're in. It depends on the teacher you have. It depends on your child. So do I think that homeschooling is better than public school or private school? No. I think that it's really a matter of what's right for you. We have some fabulous private schools around here, ones that I would have loved my daughter to go to. You know, so, and like I said, we live in a fantastic district here. So it's just really a matter of what we chose to do and what we felt was working and was best for us. But I don't think that my children it would be different, and it would be hard for me to send them to school, but I don't think that, you know, it would be some major detriment to them. And I'm sure there are many people that would say differently. I'm sure there are many people that would say differently and be like, oh my gosh, you can't put them in public school.
Well, and it depends on your environment. Here where I am, the public schools are probably the lowest of the rung of the state of Tennessee, so we couldn't. So we couldn't do public. We might do private, but we're not financially in that position. So
no, us
but I know you've got to go. So
I'm sorry, ladies.
And Durenda's not back. So we're just going to have to end the show here. So anyway,
have a good week, everybody.
We'll see if we're going to do it next week. We may actually even take mentoring moms off through the holidays too. So we'll make a decision between now and next week. But y'all have a great week, Heidi, and thanks for being here. And Durenda, if you're watching, we're sorry we can't get back on, but that's how it goes. Y'all have a great week and keep plugging along. We're right there with you. Talk to you soon. Bye.